Right, this is part two of my knife laws video. Just another quick thing I just wanted to say when I'm talking about the laws in the UK, that even though obviously it is necessary to have knife laws, and you'd have to look a lot into statistics of violent knife crimes and things that are committed around the times of each of these acts come out, and compare them to other countries where their knife laws aren't as strict. Um, but I can take a guess and say that they probably don't change too much. I would imagine that most criminals who, well, actually, if you think about it, all criminals, they don't care whether a law is there or not. You know, if somebody wants an illegal handgun, and they're going to commit a crime, they're going to commit the crime. They are going to buy the handgun whether it's illegal to or not. You know, which is another argument for obviously the gun situation in Britain. But that's a bit beside the point. Well, it's a bit of a different topic, but for knives especially, you know, so if somebody's going to commit a crime, they're going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter if how many restrictions you put on knives. If somebody wants to get hold of something, they're going to get hold of it. Which isn't to say that there shouldn't be any laws, but it's just they are very tight in the UK. Maybe excessively so compared to other countries in the world, because it doesn't. These knife laws, they apart from like the switchblades and things like that, a lot of the laws and restrictions on knives and the whole kind of the culture in Britain at the moment to the whole, you know, our knife crime is rampant and we must get rid of knife crime kind of whole culture and ideas and stuff in the UK at the moment. I don't think they're too sensible, to be honest, because if a criminal is gonna, you know, go out and want to cause harm to someone, which is not obviously not why I would say most people buy knives, especially not, you know, if a knife collectors, they're buying an Opinel, you know, they're buying, I don't know, a £200 knife, you know, like a high end knife, like a Full Niven or something like that. They're not going to be taking that knife and going and stabbing and slashing people to death. They're not going to be doing that because people who are knife collectors and who pay these amounts of money for these knives, they're just not the kind of people who go out and commit crimes with these knives. In general, not, you know, that's not a definite rule, but in general, and especially people who are knife enthusiasts who watch these kind of videos, who are on the Blade forums, they're not the kind of people who use their knives as weapons. They use them as tools. You know, they like collecting them and things like that. And I think a lot of people forget that any criminal that's going to go out there and cause harm to someone with a knife is most likely going to use a kitchen knife, a snap-off Stanley knife, a razor, something like that. They're not going to be using. They're not even going to be using stuff like, you know, like this French brand knife from a company that's been making them for 140 odd years. Things like that. They're just not going to. They're going to use, like, you know, the kitchen knives that are at hand because they're not in the knife community, the knife world. So that's what they'd use. So I just think it's kind of a bit misdirected sometimes, people's ideas and some of the laws about knives. You can do all these restrictions, but people are going to get hold of them anyway. And in the long run, you're only really restricting the law-abiding people, because if they didn't obey the laws, then, you know, it doesn't matter whether the laws are there or not. You're only putting restrictions on people who are not going to break the laws in the first place. They're not going to use them for weapons. They're just going to collect them. But that's partly my opinion. But the knife laws, they are there for a reason. Maybe if they are a bit misguided, but we'll have to see how under the new government how they go as well. I don't think they'll be loosening up anytime soon, but perhaps the whole culture on fearing knife crime and stuff will change, possibly. But just remember that it's not the knife collector, it's not the knife enthusiast or anyone like that who is committing violent crimes with their knives in general, for the most part. It's petty criminals, gang members and stuff, who are using what they have at hand, because they're not in the whole community of knife collecting. They're using whatever's at hand, whatever's cheap, easily disposable, effective, and that is the snap-off Stanley blades and kitchen knives and stuff like that. So just a thing to think about, you know, when you hear about these things. Which isn't to say we don't need laws, because we do, obviously. But that's just my little rant, my opinion thing there. Don't let it colour you too much. But anyway, it's good that you're watching this video to know more about the UK knife laws if you're in the UK. 'Cause it's always good to know about your local laws. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Lewis, and I'll see you later.